Hello guys, Antoine here for Simarchitecture and welcome back to a new build. So today I'm very happy to present you this build. I think I've been teasing you about it for quite a while now. Probably 2 weeks ago I started building this lot. And yes, it's very special because the past builds were actually more modern and without any custom content, and after that I felt like coming back to more classical monumental architecture, and of course I wanted to use Alexander's custom content. So for this build, when I started, the only thing I knew is that I wanted something monumental, and I remember a place that I've never seen myself because I've never been there. This is the National Museum of Arts of Barcelona in Catalonia, Spain. This is an incredibly beautiful palace, kind of, which is a museum actually, built on top of a hill overlooking the area, and it's absolutely huge. It has several domes. I mean, I think just for the architecture, this museum has to be visited. So when I go to Barcelona, I think I will go one day, I will be sure to visit this build. And one of the main features of this, as it's built on top of a hill, is that there's some terraced gardens, a monumental staircase leading to the building, and a sort of waterfall coming from the building to the lower level of the hill. So this is what I wanted to recreate, and I remember that we have a waterfall of this kind that came with Get to University, and you cannot find it in the normal items. You have to activate the debug mod. So if you don't know how to activate the debug mod, just Google it and you'll find an explanation. But anyway, if you download this build, you won't have to activate the debug mod. I mean, the waterfall will be here. And just before we get started talking about the build, I'm just telling you about the custom content you will need. You will need most of the GM07 custom content, all of Alexander's custom content. I mean, all the classical sets. You don't need the London set, I think, nor the travel set, or the kitchen set, or the bathroom set. But all of the other sets, you need them for this build. And you will also need some custom content I created, so don't expect anything crazy. I actually created 3 carpets that are actual carpets. They're either in France in some art collections, or from royal manufacturers, or there's one from Windsor Castle, I think, which I found on the Royal Collection Trust website. And there will be a link down below to download the 3 carpets that I use for this build. And you can use them whenever you want, they're free. And I think it's super cool to have such real carpets. They're very colorful and very historical in your game. So yes, the main feature of this build is, of course, the front side of the palace, which consists of this monumental entrance with the waterfall, the terrace gardens, which, by the way, I'm very sorry. I don't know why, but the record of the garden was corrupted. I couldn't use it in my software. I didn't want to play it. I tried many things, but unfortunately you will only see the gardens in the end screenshots, in the end videos, and not in the speed build itself. So I'm very sorry for that, because I know on Twitter a lot of people were excited about the gardens, wanted to see how I did them, and unfortunately the only part that is not recorded is the gardens. So yes, it's a bit frustrating, but you will see it in the end screenshot, and if you download the build, you can just see by yourself how I did it. Basically, I used terrain tools and foundations. I had to use a lot of tricks because the game is not really designed for such builds, I think. So yeah, I hope it won't be too, how to say that, bugged, or there is another word for that. Anyway, I know there's some problem with the stairs. For example, if you add any wall wherever you want on the lot, I know there's some stairs or changing, but yes, I think you don't have to add some walls in this build. There are enough walls. Yes. Another feature of this build is also the monumental dome, which is actually really overlooking the whole build and gives it its very recognizable shape. So it was also custom content by Alexander, which was formerly designed for the Schwerin Castle located in Germany, but it fits very well for this build. I didn't stick to a specific architectural style. I really mixed many items, just like a 19th century palace would be. There are neo-Renaissance elements, there are Rococo elements, Baroque elements, more neoclassical. It's really a mix of several architectural styles. And yes, that's what I like about 19th century. And that's what I did with this build. So yes, that's pretty much it, I think, about the exterior. And now we can go on the interior. So as you read in the title, I called it the Presidential Palace. I imagined this as an official palace used only for official events, such as summits or official visits of other foreign presidents, for example. So don't expect this place to be a place where you could live with your whole family, because there is actually only one bedchamber, which is the president's bedchamber. All the other rooms are receptions room, dining rooms, drawing rooms, hallways. There is a big conference room. There is the president's office. There's some bathroom, of course. There's a kitchen downstairs that you won't see because the video is really long enough, and I think the kitchen is not really interesting. If you want to check it out, you will have to download the build. And there's also a little secret that I will tell you a bit later more in the build. So on the ground floor, you enter through a main hall, which is not that huge, but very decorated with 4 statues, monumental statues, a huge chandelier coming from the 2nd floor going into the 1st floor. Yeah, the idea was to create a very impressive feeling when you enter the build, just to impress your guests. So as you will notice, there isn't any stair in this entrance, as I wanted to have a very big staircase. So the staircase is located on the other on the side of the palace, and it's surrounded by 2 drawing rooms leading to a huge dining room. And attached to this huge dining room, there is a sitting room that can be used like a smoking room, I think. And attached to this smoking room, there are 2 other smaller sitting areas. Most of the build consists of sitting areas, actually, but all in different styles, different colors, because I wanted this build to be a bit various, if I can say. I didn't want it to be always the same. And yeah, there are a lot of rooms actually that don't have any specific function. They're just here to be beautiful and to impress the people who are coming to visit this build. So yes, that's it for the ground floor, I think, or I forgot something. No. Oh yes, of course, I forgot something. On the other wing, there are 4 drawing rooms. They're all located around a big hallway, which I really like. There is a smaller dining room, probably for smaller lunch when, yeah, I mean, just for a few people. There is a music room, a sitting room, and a gambling room, kind of, with a card table. I don't know how you call that in English, but this kind of table you use in casinos or, you know, to play card with a green carpet on it. And still in this wing, there is the president's office, which is very impressive, I would say. Like, when you're invited in the president's office, you're like, wow, okay, he's the president, or she is the president. It could be a woman, of course. It's very ornamented. There are a lot of items everywhere, golden. This is one of the most luxurious places, most luxurious rooms, sorry, of the whole build. And there's a private bathroom attached to it and a smaller sitting area just to chill. I'm not sure you have time to chill when you're president, but who knows? If you have time, you can chill in this small drawing room. And in this office, I used my carpet that I designed from a carpet that was created by the royal manufactory of the Savonnerie. So it was one of the most prestigious carpet maker during the 17th and 18th century. All the French residents have carpets from this manufactory, which was very, very prestigious. And I think the most beautiful carpets in France come from this place. So you will see it's very colorful, very, I'm not sure, probably Baroque or late Baroque. So it has a lot of leaves, shapes, crowns, angels. It's all I like about this period. So now we're done with the ground floor, and if we go up, you will find the council room, which is a big room with big tables and, you know, this kind of very, I would say, official chairs. The kind of thing you see in catastrophe movies, you know, when all the people are gathering with the president in a high security bunker located under the White House. That was the kind of things I was thinking of while furnishing this room. So yes, I wanted to implement it in this build as I told you, it's designed for summits or special events, but it doesn't have any special use. I think it's just for fun. Yeah, it's for fun. And on the other side of the build, on the first floor, there is the presidential suite, as I would call it. So there's a private sitting room, which is very large, all in yellow and gold. I love it. It's very sunny, very warm. After that, there is a huge bedchamber, which is once more very luxurious. There are a lot of columns, ornament, arches, details of all kinds everywhere. And there's another sitting room next to that, because you never have enough sitting rooms. And of course, there is a bathroom, which I didn't show in the video because it was, as I told you, very long enough. And I think it was more interesting to focus on the big official ornamented rooms rather than on the bathrooms. And there's also a dressing room next to the bedchamber. And I could tell you that's it, but no, there's still the secret I told you about previously. There is a secret library, which is actually located under the dome. For that, you have to take a door, take a stair, and when you're on the fifth floor, there is a secret door, and you can access to this big library that you will see in the end screenshot and in the end of the split build itself. So there is no daylight, which is probably the only problem with this room, but I didn't really know how to put daylight in it. I tried to put some rounded windows, but it didn't work. So I take them off and just fill the walls with books. But I like the style. I like the vibes of the room, and I imagine the president when he's harassed by his day with all those important people, he can have a break in his private library and read a good book. And now we're done with the interior. I told you everything I had to tell about it. Anyway, I really, really hope you enjoyed this build. I think it might be the most impressive, most decorated build I have ever done, and by far the most expensive. It is worth almost 3,500,000 simoleons, which is huge in The Sims. Of course, it's due to the ornaments that I use. They're quite expensive. But yeah, it's a very, very expensive build. I'm not sure all computers can handle it. It's very, very heavy, and yes, there are a lot of different levels, different finishing aids. I think it might be a bit complicated if you don't have a good PC. You can try. I didn't try with my old PC, but yes, just beware of that. Probably it's going to be a bit laggy. Even for me, who have a very powerful computer, or a powerful computer, yes, sometimes it got a little bit laggy, especially with the water effects and so on. But other than that, I think if you have a good PC, it could be fine. Yeah, so for the next build, you will see some builds using the new expansion pack, because when I'm recording this voiceover is going to be released for early access in 2 days. And by the way, I'm very, very sad because after 3 months, I'm going back to work on the day where I got the early access. It's so unfair, but I will try my best to release videos. I'm kind of excited with this expansion pack. So yes, I will do some more modern build, I think, and after that I have an ID which I showed on Twitter. And by the way, you should follow me on Twitter if you want to know about my inspiration or ideas I have. This is where I share them. My idea was to build the so-called Chateau de Clany, which was, because it doesn't exist anymore, a very huge palace built a few meters away from the Palace of Versailles. It was built by Louis XIV for his mistress, Madame de Montespan. Yes, it was a very, very beautiful gift. It was an incredibly huge palace when you think that it was next to the Palace of Versailles, which was itself the largest palace ever built at this time, I think. And it doesn't exist anymore, sadly, because it was too big, and when this lady died, there were people living in it, but it was very expensive to, take care of the build, to take care of the incredibly huge gardens. So it was destroyed, also because the city has to expand, and Louis XV wanted to build a new neighborhood in the city. So yeah, I will tell you a bit more about the history of this place when I will build it. I don't know when yet, in a few weeks probably. And yes, that's it for me. I'm gonna leave you with the end of this pit build with the end screenshots. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed it, had a lot of fun building it, and I'm very happy with the results. So yes, I would be happy to know what you think about this build. And yes, if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!